I'm excited to introduce our guest with us today, Levi Gurno. Levi Gurno is a leadership coach. He's a speaker, and he's also the founder of Levi Gurno's Coaching and Consulting. Over the past few years, he's helped build up powerhouses within real estate and also co-founded one of Coeur d'Alene's top real estate teams. He is now focusing full-time on his business coaching, and we are thrilled to have him here today.
Yeah, dude, I am so stoked to have you here, man. Like when we first started this podcast and we were talking about like potential guests to have on, you were the first person that popped into both of our heads immediately. We were like, dude, we got to get Levi on because like, not only have you had such an amazing journey, like with us and like your transformation health-wise and everything you've gone through, but just, you have such a great way of communicating and articulating things. We're like, dude, we got to get Levi on and just talk about his experience with everything.
Well, thank you, man. And yeah, I really appreciate that. It's really fun to be here with you guys. You guys have been a big part of my journey over the last couple of years, and we've developed, a friendship, and then I also just love seeing what you guys are doing in the community and just helping people. So I'm honored to be amongst one of the names you guys would have on.
Yeah, likewise, dude. Like we love everything you're doing. Like Brittany had talked about the whole coaching thing earlier, and like we've seen just since you've kind of stepped into that role full time, and just like we're seeing you everywhere now, and it's like everyone knows Levi and everyone's working with Levi, and just the impact that you've been able to have on individuals and teams and helping people create like that winning culture that you talk about so much, dude. Like it's been awesome to see you grow in that.
Yeah, well, thank you, man. And you guys are building it here. It's awesome. It's awesome to see. So I'm really grateful.
Yeah. So we met Levi about 3 years ago in that mastermind, local mastermind here. And you started working with us pretty shortly after that. Yep. So it's been probably a couple years that you've been working with us now.
Yeah. I think I'm approaching 2 years.
Yeah.
About 2 years ago. Yeah. It really came down to when, I didn't know a ton about hormone therapy. Right. And you guys shared in the mastermind. And everything that you were saying about your story, I related to.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. And it was super timely because I had been, always super active.
Yeah.
I had been doing I'd been doing Ironman triathlons for about 5 years, and started having kids, started building businesses, and just started feeling like crap, honestly, operating on probably just cortisol and coffee.
Yeah. All the normal stuff that most people go through, but they just, we have no idea that that's not normal. Like you shouldn't feel that way.
Yep. And at first it's like, well, I'm not really sleeping because my kids are little, and just kind of, excuses and thinking they're valid. But, when I would start to, come home from work or really anything, come home from the gym, and I just felt horrible.
Yeah.
And it was affecting the way that I lived. I just knew that, that wasn't normal. Right. And so when you guys shared and I learned more about what you do and heard your personal stories, those were really powerful.
Yeah.
Saw myself in those a lot. And that's when I reached out, and really it was a no-brainer for me.
It was really good timing because I remember you had shared in the mastermind, you had talked about doing the Ironmans and that one of your missions that you had kind of talked about was getting back to that version of yourself, like the healthier version, more active, in shape, athletic, and doing those kind of things. And it's like, we were just starting this business and it was like, dude, this is a perfect fit. Like we got to connect and work with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been awesome. It's honestly, I tell people often that it's probably saved my life, not that I was, thinking anything horrible, but when I say save my life, I was a shell of a person, to be honest, and everything felt like a performance because it kind of needed to be. And so I was just performing, right? And it's like, that's not how I want to operate. I want to operate at a 10 out of 10 level and operate in alignment with just who I am and have energy.
Yeah, dude, I've been there. It's kind of like you get to this point of like going through the motions and like you can put on a front just enough to kind of like, get through your meetings or events or things that you have to, be facing people or clients or whatever through business. And it's like, you can do just enough. Do that. And then you feel like crap the rest of the time.
Totally. Yeah. And what it caused me was, I could show up in my business, but I had no energy to work on my business. So when it came to, strategic planning or casting vision or anything additional that was required to actually build the business, I had brain fog. I had no energy. Rarely did I have time to work on that. So really kind of get to a stagnant point. And you could say the same for relationships. You could say the same with my kids. It was like I was doing enough. And that's just not how I want to live.
I like, so going back to like talking about your kids, because how old are you right now?
30. I'll be 35 in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're about 33 when you
Yep.
kind of started working with us, and 2 young little girls at home.
Yep.
And, that's one of the things that you've shared with Brittany and I privately of just how much of an impact getting your hormones and your health in line has impacted your relationship with your daughters.
Oh, big time, man. I mean, my little girls, they're 2 little blonde-haired, blue-eyed Spitfires. They have energy from sun up at like 5:30 a.m. to sundown.
Yeah.
And that's I love that. I love that about them. And for the long time, it was just hard. I'd find myself like wrapping up a day and having to like prepare, like mentally, to be present with my kids, right? And I think any parent can relate to that. You're gonna have days like that, but it was every day.
Yeah.
And trying to find things to do, and I only have a short season where they're little and they want to run and play hide and go seek, or my girls like to play what we call monster, and I chase them around the house, and they want to go swimming, they want to go on the boat, all things that I want to do as well, but it was a chore. And I was physically present in terms of like I was there, but mentally and energetically was completely absent.
How long do you think it took till you started seeing these positive results?
Yeah, good question. I mean, it's continued to build over the last couple of years, but man, pretty quickly. I mean, I feel like about a month in, I think there was like the mental switch where like the day I took my first testosterone shot, I was like, oh, I feel incredible. I feel incredible. And I rode that for a bit, but honestly, probably within a month, I would say 6 months in, I felt like everything was better, right? Sleep was better, attitude was better, energy was better, mood was better. And I was way more, I was recovering faster. I was getting stronger, noticing physical changes. At a year, I felt like a completely different person. You know what I'm saying? And so, and that transformation happened over time. It didn't take a year, but I looked back and I'm like, holy smokes, man.
You were being patient too.
Yeah, I was. And I wasn't just trusting it to do the job for me.
Yeah.
Right. So like for me, it's not that being on hormones has made me stronger, helped me lose weight in and of itself. It's like it gave me the energy and the focus and the drive to actually go do what it takes to live a healthy lifestyle, which that's what was missing before. I had the desire to, but I would go do like a CrossFit workout, which is pretty taxing on your body. And I would actually get physically sick. Yeah. I would be sick for a couple of days because I was in such a deficit. And
so it would put you back, essentially.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
And that was just a compound effect.
Yep.
Every area of my life, that's what would happen. I would go, speak at a conference, and I'd be, working all day, whether it's coaching or speaking, and I would actually feel hungover for like 2 days. Yeah. and I wasn't drinking or anything, but I would have migraines, and I would feel like I was hungover for 2 days.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. It's interesting you said that, because like Britt and I talk about all the time that you're like the picture perfect patient. Like we wish everyone was like you, because you've had this incredible transformation. You, like you just said, you feel like a completely different person of what you used to be, but you have done all the things that you need to do yourself. Like you've taken care of, time in the gym and eating right, and, working on your relationships, and like doing all the things that are required of you while, we're helping you with the hormone side of things. And it's like, you put all that together and it's like, dude, the transformation has been amazing.
Yeah. I would say what it's been for me, and I agree fully, it's been like a conduit for the life that I want to live and for my success, right? It hasn't been the thing in and of itself, but it's been a conduit that's allowed me to actually operate at a high level. And I'm already a pretty driven guy, right? Like I'm pretty committed to who I want to be in my relationships, in my business. And it's given me the boost that I needed, right? And it's crazy that you don't realize how big of a deficit you're in until you're out of that deficit.
Totally.
You're not just going through the motions anymore.
And I'm like, how did I make it? Honestly.
We hear that all the time. And it's like, what I think occurs is like, you're just, every year you kind of have this decline, and it's like kind of subtle over time, but it's like, compound that over 10 years. And it's like, you really don't notice the shift. But then when you correct it, you can look back and it's like, oh my God, like totally I didn't realize how far down I was.
Yeah. And I talk about this in business too with people. I say, success is gradual and then it's instant, right? So you don't see it right away. The same exact thing. A decline is the same thing. Like you decline gradually and then it's instant when you're like, holy smokes, look how far off track that I am.
Yes.
But the same thing as I got on hormones and started changing my lifestyle, it was gradual and then it was like instant. it was like, whoa, almost like it happened overnight, but it didn't, right?
Yeah.
It was it was the compound effect of making the right choice and staying committed. And, you know, for me, I'm pretty like rigid, right? Like I think I when I was in Hawaii last year, like I forgot my testosterone. I was going to take it. I was going to take it a day late, and I'm calling you. I'm like, bro, can I overnight this? You're like, dude, one day is not going to do anything. Right. But I'm like, yes, it will, Travin. Yes, it will.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and it's like you're such type A, and it's
dude.
It's like any sort of like deep through schedule. And it's like, oh my god.
Yeah. But I mean, but that's just I've been committed to it, right? Really committed to it, and you know, exploring other things too as I've grown, and like whether it be the peptides that have helped with sleep, or you know, increasing my thyroid dose because you know that I realized that that's what I needed. You know, it was like. It's all the things that are working together.
I remember that when we got you, because you didn't start doing thyroid right away.
No.
And then we kind of added it in, and you're like, oh my God, like
dude.
this made such a big difference.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yep. Big time. Yep. So
like with energy, is that?
Oh yeah. Energy. And then I think some weight loss too. And growing up, I remember very specifically, and I had forgotten for a long time, but you know, I had asthma. I was a pretty overweight kid. And they just said, oh, you have a sluggish thyroid. But I never really revisited that. And then when I increased my thyroid with you guys, how quickly, I mean, within a day or two, I'm just like, this is wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it just shows that like if our body doesn't have what it needs.
Yep.
Exactly.
You know?
Yep. It's not getting the proper support.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit, what has it been like both you and your wife?
Yeah, man. I would say, you know, our relationship together, as we've both been committed to, you know, working on our hormones and our health. One of the biggest things that I've noticed is both of us have more energy, right? And so, especially like when the kids go down, you know, we used to just like read a book or watch a show and fall asleep.
Crash.
Oh yeah, it's like we have no energy for anything. And now, you know, we're spending really good quality time together. We're talking a lot about, you know, the life that we're building, who we're becoming, our kiddos, like where does our energy need to go, right? Like we actually have capacity. I would say it's built-in capacity. Our schedule looks the same, but we have capacity to actually connect. Right. In all ways. And that is huge. The same thing that you know, I said with, you don't realize how big of a deficit you're in until you're out of it. I think it's the same thing in relationships. You don't realize how slowly and how far maybe you've drifted from who you were at the beginning until you start to get back to, oh, okay, dude, we're jiving, we're moving, we're grooving, you know, we're less reactive, less arguments. So, I mean, honestly, it's just been a complete overhaul, to be honest.
I always say it feels more peaceful.
Way more peaceful. And, you know, obviously, again, we have a almost 6 and almost 4-year-old. So they're 5 and 3 right now. And so the peaceful moments are a lot less, you know, just the season of life. However, we're able to find like the peace in those moments, or again, be less reactive. That was something that I noticed that was really hard for me, is I was really reactive to my kids. And not at all who I am at all, you know? And so I didn't have the patience for them. And I remember just, I would like lash out, or I would just, you know, correct them really quickly and be critical. And I would like get out of that moment, and I'm just like, dude, this is not like, what even happened? You know what I'm saying? And then I'm thinking like, they're 5 and 3, or at that point, they're 4 and 2. Like it's not them that needs to change. It's me that needs to change. And that was a big catalyst to me, like, because I think I explored it with you guys, and then I kind of got in my head a little bit, like, am I gonna be on this forever, and all the things that I think people will naturally think.
We hear that one often.
And for me, I had one of two choices. I can keep feeling the way I am, be reactive to my kids, probably get worse, affect my marriage, my relationship with them, every area, or I can actually take this, reclaim it, and I can get back to and grow in the person that I want to become. And if I need to be on something for the rest of my life, but that's what it produces in my life, I'm in. That was a no-brainer for me. It was like, I don't get this time back.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love hearing
Dude,
that.
yeah, I do too. I'm so glad you said that about, well, like, Brett, I'm glad you brought up the thing about feeling peaceful, and then you followed up with being reactive, because like that's something that I think is so important that like people are listening to know, because we get that so much where people think that it does the opposite, because somehow testosterone has this association with making you more aggressive or irritable. And we get that a lot with couples that come in, and the wife will be like, well, my husband's already, irritable or he's moody, or he snaps a lot. Like, I'm worried the testosterone is going to make that worse. And it's like, no, it's going to make that better.
Totally.
Right. It's going to balance that. You're going to be able to handle your emotions better. You're going to be more peaceful. You're calm. You react a lot better. So like, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. Well, it's something my wife had said, and it was hard for me to hear probably 2 years ago. She's very driven by peaceful environments, and she works really hard to create those, even though it's challenging too. And I remember her saying something to me. I forgot how she said it, but she basically said, I need you to bring peace into our home. And she said, and when you come home, you steal peace. Like you don't bring it. And honestly, was it hard to hear? Yes. But she said it because she loved me. She said it because she knows who I am. And so I didn't take offense to it, but it was a realization of like, man, what am I contributing to a chaotic environment? Like, how am I contributing to a chaotic environment? Like if dad comes home and sure, we're having fun and it's energetic, but quickly I can be reactive or be upset. Like that is not producing the environment that I want in my home. Yeah. And so honestly, the main driver for me was my family. Yeah. 100%. I would say that the second would have been equal, my physical body and my mental state. Yeah. Right. Which all play into each other.
It's all connected. Yeah.
And so, but that was a big thing. I listened to what my wife said, and for me, it was like, all right, I've been trying to like white knuckle this thing for 2 years. Yeah. And just drink more coffee, or intermittent fast or work out more, all the things that were like not helping me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's the thing. It's like when your body's not producing that, like no amount of, fasting and red light therapy and cold plunge and all these things are going to bring it to where it needs to be. I mean, those are all good and beneficial for your health, but like, dude, like you said, like if you have to take something for the rest of your life, but you get all these benefits from it, it's a no-brainer.
Well, we're meant to have these hormones.
We're meant to,
So I'll take it for 5 years, and then I'll just operate how I'm not meant to operate. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's just not. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
We every other area of our life we supplement things, whether it be like in our business and whatever. But like when it comes to something like this, and I get it. Like I do get that it may take some time for people, and I'm sure you guys do too. Yeah. But I think there's lack of education out there, which you guys have done a phenomenal job educating people.
Thank you.
We're trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's overcoming some of those myths that are out there too, the misinformation.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
I did have a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea on how much you've lost?
Yeah. Since I started, like 43 pounds.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The thing too we need to point out is like 43 pounds, but like you've also, the change in body composition is a lot more
You've put on
than
so
what
much
is
muscle.
reflective of just
I put on a lot of muscle.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I've gotten way stronger.
Yeah.
Which was my goal.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just lose weight.
Yeah.
I want to be strong.
Dude, you've lost body fat and you've put on muscle.
Yep.
Like you've done an amazing transformation.
Yeah.
I know you recently had sent a before and after picture.
Yeah.
Like it was like a month ago or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy cow.
Well, I was too.
Like,
I was watching this video from when I spoke at the mastermind, and I was like, whoa. I'm just like, geez, dude.
Different person.
Yeah. And it wasn't just like my body. It was also like my eyes were like,
you could see the inflammation.
Yes. Big time.
Yep.
Big time. And so, I'm just so grateful, man. And it's carried over into so many areas. And, I've sent people to you guys,
Thank you.
Not just to help build your business, cause I want to do that, but because I believe in it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so whether it's my father-in-law or my parents or my wife or whatever, it's like, man, we should all be feeling better. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if we're not, we should figure out why.
Yeah.
We all deserve to feel as good as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And our life requires it. Like we need to.
We need to. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
We
We
should
appreciate
have
you, man.
you and Sarah on sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be cool.
She gets a little nervous behind the camera, but hey, we'll make it a peaceful environment.
Yes.
And we'll make it happen.
I love it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Brother, we appreciate you being
Absolutely.
here so much, man.
Yeah.
This has been great having you on.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have you back.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, I would say, Instagram is probably where I'm at the most. If I don't know somebody, Levi Gurno _ on Instagram. That's probably the best way, honestly. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet, brother.
Yep.
And thank you for tuning in today. Like always, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we will see you next time.